Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to share with you one of the shadows out of the Dior Parisian collection. I'm not quite sure of the actual name of the palette. I can put my glasses on and tell you in a minute. But it's in this gorgeous blue, in all these tones of blue. Beautiful periwinkle blue, deep navy blue, beautiful peach, and a champagne colour. These shadows are absolutely stunning on the eye, and it's something that I probably would not have thought that I would enjoy using as somebody that, you know, was wearing makeup in the 80s and 90s when all those vibrant blues were around and cobalt blues. And but for some reason I really gravitated towards this color range. Absolutely love it. I've seen the end results and it's perfect. So I just want to go through my makeup process with you today and show you this color on. Look, you don't have to use the Dior shades, and I'm sure if you've got something at home, you can still create this look. So to start with, I will go in with my primer, which, as you know, my go-to is always my Giorgio Armani in the Luminous Silk Primer. And I have veered off on occasion and tried some other primers, but on my skin, this is just the one that works so well. So I only need a small amount of that. And it just is the perfect setup, and it is the perfect setup for all foundations. So leaning into that comment, I've shown you in a video fairly recently of the Guerlain, sorry, I'm going to have to put my glasses on, the Guerlain Parure Gold Skin in the matte. I did a demonstration for you with that and the primer, and I really hadn't had a great experience with this product, which was just so disappointing because I waited and waited to be able to get this, and then I just hadn't enjoyed it. Then off camera I have tried it with the Giorgio Armani primer and I've had fantastic results. So there we go. It may just be on my skin, I believe, that the just on my skin, the primer is just not perhaps right for me. But I'm going to try that primer with some of my more emollient foundations, because by all rights, this particular foundation is a matte finish. So the results to be expected should be that it's matte. And I just think that perhaps on a younger skin, perhaps somebody with a little bit more of a bit more oil than what I have, they would have got a much better result than me. But from memory, I just found it to be quite patchy. I could smell a lot of alcohol. Not that matte bothered me, but just generally, you know, alcohol is a sign that a product is going to be quite drying on the skin. Well, you know, alcohol has its purpose in beauty products, but just on my skin it wasn't right. So today I get to demonstrate the beautiful Guerlain foundation again, but this time with a different primer underneath. Has beautiful coverage, is such a gorgeous foundation, and it is matte, but it's not. I have used matte foundations. I think it's just lovely. Highly recommend it. I will make sure I include the colour that I'm using as well. I can't quite remember the colour. Okay. So next, I'm going to go in with my concealing products. And again, I've really just applied one relatively light application of foundation, because I do like to come back in with my concealer and do that SOS or spot patching up for where I feel that my skin needs a little bit more cover. So I'm going to go in with, again, my Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk concealer, and just in the areas that I need it, like where I've got texture around this area here, I have texture, I have some little broken capillaries. So we'll just go in and blend that out. But I like to blend just really, I try to just blend the edges and just gently blot over those areas that I want to build up a little bit more cover. And then around the eye area, my concealer is the Chanel Sublimage. If you know me and you're following my videos, you would have seen me use this on quite a few occasions. This is really my holy grail of concealers for the eye area for many reasons. This product comes in the little pot. It has so many benefits. For one thing, it has a lot of skincare in the product, so it's quite emollient around the eye without being oily, and it's gentle enough around the eye area as well. It is a concealer, so it will help to conceal the darkness around our eyes, and as you can see, I do get quite dark. It is reflective. It will help to brighten the eye area, which is something that we're always looking for in mature skin. So I'm just using a patting motion and gently blending. So pushing the product. I'm not dragging it and stretching, just pushing to get that product in. I find that this sits really well on my skin. It doesn't fall in to any of the fine lines around my eye area. Obviously, I do have lines, I do have wrinkles. I am 58 years old, so I'm certainly experiencing everything that aging is bringing, but I'm also loving this transitional phase in my life. So there we go, that's with the Chanel concealer. You can see that it is quite brightening under the eye area, which is perfect. I also like to use my Yves Saint Laurent Toche Eclat, not the concealer, but the reflective contour, highlighter, sorry, beg your pardon. And I'm just going to use that in these little areas around my face where, again, with age, we start to get a few little creases, dark areas. So this does help to highlight as well. And we're always looking for that luminosity in our skin as it ages. You can use the little brush applicator from the product. I just tend to prefer to use a nice big fluffy concealing brush and just blend that out. So as I said, it doesn't conceal the lightness. The idea of this product is to brighten, to bring forward. So we're just trying to draw attention away from the darkness of these lines here. Just bring this forward. across the top of their cheekbone, just for a little bit of brightness. Down the nose, up in between the eyes. Something new today, I will do my brows on camera. I don't normally do that because I have so little brow. It generally takes me a little bit of time to get them right. Not too long, but please just bear with me while I do this. So the product that I'm using is by Benefit. They have a very good reputation when it comes to brow products. I love the little spoolie end. It's really nice and fine, so you can brush the brows into place. I then come in with the pencil, and this is a microfine pencil, and I'm just trying to follow the natural hairline, but at the same time I am creating shape because my brows on their own don't have any shape. And as I've said in a recent video, being a child of the 60s and living in the 80s, before, you know, in the early 80s or whatever the era was, but it was very, very popular to have hardly any brows. So we used to tweeze our eyebrows, and yuck. And this is the result. So if I happen to get any young girls watching this, please don't tweeze your eyebrows. My girls know not to, because you end up like me and desperately trying to create a natural looking brow when we don't actually have any. So, okay, so I'm just going to keep going with this pencil. I'm filling in at the same time, creating some shape. I wonder how many of you out there are like me and we sit and watch other ladies, you know, perhaps younger women doing their makeup, and they just come along with a wand and say, oh, I'll just fill in my eyebrows, and it just takes like, you know, 15 seconds and it's done. And I think, oh gee, I wish I could do that. So I think for the purpose for today, which is not all around my eyebrows, it's more about this beautiful blue shadow. Hopefully I'm almost there. So I use the pencil, the microfine pencil, to go in and basically follow whatever natural line of the brow is there. I then come in with the pomade, which is in a tiny little brush, and just, it's also got like a gel in it, and just brush that into the brow. So that gives me a little bit more fullness, and I try in this corner here to really brush upwards, again to give that illusion of a very natural looking brow. So again, a little bit more product, come into the corner, brushing upwards. So we're trying to create that natural look. And each side of our face is different. Each brow is slightly different. And where we have a little bit of an error, we can just come in with a tiny bit of concealer and tidy that up. It's hard to see what you can see because the monitor looks a little bit different to what I can see directly in the mirror. The final part of the brow prep is the clear gel. And this is great if you have brows that don't want to behave, that want to sit whichever way they want. I don't really have that problem because I don't have enough brows, but I think it is still a nice touch just to settle, just to get them to set down. And plus, because I can't see anything without my glasses, I don't really know what other people can see. But I think if somebody could see that my brows were standing up, then they're too close to me and they need to back away. So there, that's probably the quickest I've ever done my brows. So now we're going to dive straight into this stunning palette. I've been wanting to try this. I've tried it, but I've been wanting to share this with you for some time. First of all, I am going to go into, excuse me, sorry, I just had to get my towel. Just wanted to give my brush a little bit of a clean off. Something that I do have, it's a Mecca product, and this is a brush cleaner on the go in a spray formula. So I can just give my brushes a tiny little spray of that, and then a quick wipe off on a towel. It's not really wet, it's on the go, so you can just continue on with your brush. So I'm going in to this champagne-y pink, and I'm going to apply that on the mobile lid of my eye. I'm not powdering anything on my eyes. Oh, actually, no. Before I do that, I've just thought I've got a very major product here. My Shadow Primer. And this is by Fenty Beauty. And look, particularly with colours like this one that I'm about to demonstrate, I really suggest a primer because this particular palette of Dior and any of your high-end shadows, they're not going to have the heavy payoff and the really thick intensity of some of the other palettes. Natasha Denona, I've just done a video with her shadows. I mean, to me, they're really high-end and great quality, and they have fabulous payoff. But when you start using your Dior and your Chanels, they are much more subtle, and that's how they've been designed. They've been designed that way, and they've been designed so that they can have gradual colour and gradual build-up. So that's why I say to make sure you do use the primer, because you may find that the colour will just disappear on your lid. Okay, so we're going in with this beautiful soft peach. And again, if you are thinking about purchasing the Dior shadows, just keep in mind that they have got quite a bit of sparkle. So we're going to go in all over the mobile lid. With this peach colour. I need a bigger workstation here. So you can see that I'm continually applying more shadow to the brush because they are so subtle. But you know what, if you're a beginner, you're going to love this. Because it's quite hard to make a mistake. Because I want to add some depth into my eye socket area, and I don't particularly want to rely on the blue in this shadow because it may be too intense. I'm going to come in with a bronzer, really any bronzer. I'm just going to use out of my Chanel palette. I'm just going to come in with some bronzer into the crease of my eye to start to create some structure to the eye area. I think this is a good trick so that you don't have to incorporate another shadow. And being a bronzer, it's going to, you know, be your skin but sun-kissed. But it's going to give the desired result of structure to the eye area. You can see already how that is working. So just move that across that socket bone, that orbital bone, just keep moving that to create that depth. Now we're going to start to work with, I am going to go straight in to this really deep blue colour here. I'm going to load up my brush, start from the contour bone. So let's just start from this outer corner here, make sure it's, try to imagine a line from the edge of your eye up to there, because we don't want your shadow to come down here. It's going to then draw the eye downwards. We want everything to be looking up. So we're just going to start at this very outer corner. I'm going to push some colour in there. And I think by pushing the colour in as well, it gives you a bit of a feel for how intense is this going to be. If you go in and just start to apply, with any brand, with any shadow, you might find that you're getting much more payoff than what you thought. So we're just going to stamp in that very outer corner and down onto the mobile eyelid. So it looks quite dark on the monitor, but I'm going to be able to blend that out. So just pushing that into that contour bone, pushing the colour, and then coming back down and blending it. And this is such a beautiful blue. It's like a midnight sky. And then with the contrasting periwinkle colours that are in here, and being a little bit motivated by the colour of my top as well. Such a gorgeous colour, and I actually would have thought there's no way in the world I would ever wear blue eyeshadow again. But here we are. So we'll just come back and blend this side here a little bit more. So we're just blending, pulling into the centre of the eye, because as we're pulling it into the center of our eye, it's becoming less intensified. And up onto that bottom part of the crease bone. Just keep blending, blending. Now I am then going to come in with this beautiful soft periwinkle. See, same colour as my top. And we're going to start on the mobile lid and work that inwards. So as I said, these shadows, if you do use the Dior or you think you might like to purchase, just keep in mind they do have quite a lot of sort of like a sparkle. I wouldn't say glitter. I'm just going to run that brush around the top just to pull everything together. So some more of this beautiful periwinkle colour, pushing that onto the mobile lid and all the time just blending into the centre. And you can see by bringing that up across the top of that brow bone, crease bone, with this softer blue, it's sort of taking the edges off the really deep midnight navy. Then I'm going to come in with a short, much solider pressed brush. I'm going to come in with that periwinkle colour again. And I'm just going to sweep that across my eye area underneath my lashes. And I am getting quite a bit of fallout, but I think that would be common because it is quite a shimmery effect. And that's okay, we'll clean that up at the end. And then with the same brush, I'm going to come into the deep midnight blue, start from the very outer corner and just a tiny bit, just blend that in, just a small amount, because I actually want to incorporate, Dior also at the same time released a new kohl pencil. It's great, it has a blending bud on the end, and it's, I just can't remember what it's called, but I'll put the name in the description box for you. And it's a dark navy blue with a little bit of reflect in it. Such a beautiful colour. Then I'm going to come back with my big brush, and I'm going to go back into this champagne colour. And I'm just wanting to go around the very edges of my shadows and just soften. So we're just softening everything with this beautiful soft champagne. Isn't it just so stunning? Really, who would have thought we would revert back to these blue shadows? And because there's in my opinion, there's so much going on with these shadows, I'm really not going to do a lot more around my eyes, apart from I am going to go in with a good pass of mascara. And I really want to coat those lashes. So we're going to just try to get in as close to the rim of your eye as possible. And if you've been watching any of my other videos, you'll know that I always say to people to always tilt your head back as you're trying to apply any of these eye products. If you're using your kohl pencil across the top of the eye, always tilt your head back. It's the same as with your mascara. I think if we try to get too close and we start squinting our eye, that's when we start to get into a little bit of trouble with our eye products. So again, just twisting and getting that brush right underneath the lashes. If you start to get a bit of a tail on the end of your brush, just take that off, because that's in that little flick. And always, if you can think of it, try to concentrate on applying more mascara right to this outer corner of the eyelashes and pulling out. Unless, of course, you're going to use some additional lashes, and that will give you that effect, that elongated effect. Just wanting to, because I'm going to use a little bit of peach on my cheeks, I'm trying to keep this as, that's why I didn't do any contouring either in this video, because I'm trying to keep this as light and as bright as possible. I will do a tiny bit of contour. I'm just wanting to bring in a little bit more peach into the eye area, so I'm coming back in with this peachy colour here. And just going to apply a little bit up under the brow. That will just brighten that area as well. And then to finish off, I'm going to come back in with the peach, because it's quite sheer. And just a tiny bit in the corner of my eye, just in that tear duct area there, and that will brighten up the eye look. So I think I'm happy with the shadow. And as I said, I would come back in and clean up any little bits of fallout. And I haven't powdered. I deliberately didn't powder before because I wanted to wait until I'd finished eye application. So I'm just going to take a small amount of powder and press that onto the back of my hand. I am using the Givenchy Prisme powder, Prisme Libre, I think it's called. And just press in a tiny bit of powder. This is so blurring. Gosh, any tiny little fine lines, it just seems to blur. But it is quite brightening, so I'm not using that on the rest of my face. And in fact, because this is a matte foundation, I'm not going to use any powder today. But if you had a slightly oilier skin, then you would. The powder that I will use though is the Guerlain Meteorites, and they smell so divine. I have got a couple of colours in this, but today, to keep this look as light and bright as possible, I'm going to use my lighter coloured pearls. I think these are shade 2, I think. They give a beautiful reflex. So look, whatever's on the brush to start with, remember wherever the brush goes first is where you're going to get your intensity. So let's do this across where the sun would normally shine, down in these areas here, to give us some beautiful highlight. And then just what's left, we can blend into the rest of the skin. So I'm not sure if you've had a chance to try out these meteorite balls, but they're absolutely beautiful. So now for some contouring, just a little bit of quick contouring. I'm going to use my Chanel palette, just a tiny bit under the cheekbone. A little bit around the hairline as well, just to give our face a beautiful structure and a little bit of sharpness down the sides of the nose. And my always must, but with our aging face, around the jawline, just to help to give a little bit of structure. And it's just really to add shadow. It's a bit of a makeup trick. Just push that down, blending down from the jawbone to create that shadow underneath. And I'm going to also use I think this is the light coral in the trio of the Chanel, which is blush, bronzer, highlighter. I am going to use a little bit of the coral blush just up on the very top of my cheekbone here. And I would have said to you on other occasions, I mean, of course you have to wear blush, but I'm not, I don't like on myself too much blush. So, and also I will always say to you, start at the very top, up here of your, with our aging skin. When you're younger, you have a different facial structure, you have different needs and require different results. As we get a bit older, we want to create everything to have an uplifted look. So we're going to start from right up here and just gently bring it down onto this part of our face. And I just finish off with a tiny bit of blush in other areas, just to bring all the look together. One of my favourite, most stunning products is this Sisley. And it is a highlighting blush. And this is in the coral. I'm hoping you're aware of it and seeing it. It has got a multitude of colours in this beautiful coral base. It has gorgeous reflect without having glitter or sparkle. One of my favourite products. So just a small amount onto the brush. up onto the top of the cheekbones. And look, this doesn't have the intensity of a blush, so you don't need to worry. It's not going to be too bright. Up around the side of the temple. You can even flick up underneath the brows, and it just brings all that total look together. Now, before I forget, because it's something I've been meaning to say and I've forgotten in most of my videos, what I do use to always set my makeup is the Charlotte Tilbury Air Brush. And it's a pump spray that right at the end of all of our makeup application, I would use quite a few pumps over my skin, and that will keep your makeup still for the rest of the day. So I'm going to now go into I have a Dior lip pencil here. This is in a lovely corally pink. I have one side of my lip isn't quite as full as the other. So again, we use our makeup and we use our tricks to try to create that look. This is, I better have a look and tell you what the colour of this lipstick is, because it was released with these, I'm sure this one was released with these range of shadows, and it's number 326. And it's called Champagne of Rose. Is that Champagne of Roses? I've also got a magnifying glass here that I use. Champ de Roses. So yes, it probably is Champagne of Roses. And it's a beautiful pink. Pinky, but I also think a little bit peach. This is a satin formula, satin velvet. So it's not super moist, super oily. I shouldn't say it's not moist. It is beautiful and moist and creamy, but it hasn't got that high-end luster. And there we have it. And I just think that is such a beautiful, beautiful look. Perfect for day. I've worn this look during the day and had many compliments. Also wear it for an evening. You can build up the intensity around the eyes even more. I would be going in with a black liquid eyeliner, a black kohl pencil on the inner rim of the eye. Really loading up that mascara. But I think if you're wanting something just a little bit softer, with these colours still for during the day, this is absolutely how you could achieve that. So that's all for today. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please give me a thumbs up, and remember to subscribe to my channel. I would be really happy to see you come along on this journey with me. So thank you for today. Enjoy the rest of it. Take care.